Welcome to In the Workshop, a random assortment of old model steam engines, part 2. These were left with me quite a few years ago. I give a detailed verbal report on the condition of each of the engines. Starting with this one, engine number 11, a small horizontal model steam engine made from brass and steel. The engine is unfinished.
Okay, air please.
My friend James Evans is operating the air valve and I was in autopilot mode by this time. The engine didn't work. Then I noticed that it was incomplete. And what was wrong with it?
No valve, that might explain why it didn't run. Unfinished.
I would at this stage like to apologise for the incompetence. As you can clearly see, there's no sign of an eccentric and I don't even know if there's a valve in the valve chest. This looks like a scratch-built engine. It's sort of okay, it's not one that I would want. For starters, look at the very strange way that the flywheel is fastened to the crankshaft. The general engineering standard is reasonable. The steel parts are rusty, it's been laid around for a long time. Another item bought online. This is engine number 12, a small steam boiler feed water pump, built to a design I have never seen before. And after connecting to the compressed air supply, it does not appear to work properly. This is a very strange engine and it's painted in the same colour scheme as an engine that I showed in the previous episode. I would hazard a guess that both these items were built by the same person. The thing is with this engine, it does try to work, but it just doesn't get there. Steam pumps can be quirky at the best of times, and this one is on the extreme end of quirky because it doesn't work at all. I could possibly make this steam pump work if I wanted to spend some time on it, but quite frankly I don't wish to spend any time on it. But it's hardly a Stuart model steam pump and it's nowhere near a Southworth steam pump, so I don't think I'll bother. I can make it work if I give it a helping hand. Maybe if I dismantled the engine, tidied it up and fitted a spacer to the end of the valve rod, it may work, but I just don't have the time. Engine number 13, a table engine built to quite a good standard, similar in design to the Stuart model's James Coombs engine, but unfinished and with a few parts missing. Here it is with a really stunning colour scheme. There are so many vital parts missing from this engine, it would take quite a long time to remanufacture them. Even the wooden base isn't finished unless the parts have fallen off. I'm more than capable of finishing this engine because really it's nearly there. The problem though is the amount of time it would take me to complete this engine versus what it would be worth once it was complete. If it's a Stuart James Coombs engine, they fetch reasonably good money. But even if I finished this engine to a good standard, I don't think a table engine of this type, even if I completed it and put it up for sale, I really don't think it would fetch much money. And once again, it's not worth the time and effort. This next engine, number 14, is a V-twin model steam engine. Built to a good standard, although unfinished with missing parts, it looks to be well made, but it has some soft-soldered components. I may be wrong, but I think the piping that goes to the flanges that mount to the steam chests is soft soldered. I haven't really checked, I've just looked at it. Soft solder is usually quite silver in colour, whereas silver solder is more of a light brass colour. This engine really is nowhere near being finished. It does have valves and I assume it has pistons, but there aren't any main bearings in the centre, so the crankshaft just wobbles about. Looking at the bright yellow flywheel wobbling about, this engine may have been built by the same person who made the steam pump and the engine from the previous episode. On the plus side, I quite like the steam valve. This is another engine that I just would not want to waste any time rebuilding. Here's something a bit different, engine number 15, a single-cylinder vertical model steam engine that looks to be a proprietary item, but it has a damaged and cracked main bearing housing. This engine is quite large. I've put my hand into the shot so you can gauge the scale. The flywheel is made from an alloy. It has a dummy governor fitted to it. When I look at the eccentric on the crankshaft, it doesn't look right. I'll give it a try using compressed air. I don't think it's going to work. It doesn't feel good when you turn it over because the main bearing at the back is cracked. When I applied some compressed air, as you've just seen, it moved slightly, not even a full rotation of the flywheel. I don't know what make this engine actually is, but I'm sure there must be a viewer or two out there who know exactly what it is. If you're 100% sure what it is, please let me know. Engine number 16, a single-cylinder vertical model steam engine. This one looks like a Reeves Trojan engine. It has slip-eccentric valve gear. By the way things felt when I turned over the crankshaft, I was fairly sure it was going to run, so I thought it would be a good idea to thoroughly oil the moving parts first. I didn't bother oiling a lot of the other engines because it was just a waste of oil. A lot of them are unfinished and most of them felt like they wouldn't run. I applied the compressed air and it runs. The engine is fitted with slip-eccentric valve gear. You stop the engine, rotate it in the opposite direction, then it will run in reverse. These small Reeves Trojan engines are very good and they run very fast. There are two boxes this size full of engines. This one, box number 1, contains all the rubbishy ones. I'm sorry to be so harsh, but I have to tell the truth in these videos. I don't want to make something appear to be not what it is. And now, saving the worst until last in this episode, it's engine number 17, a Stuart 10V steam engine in a very sorry state. First of all, I would like to show you something that most people overlook entirely with Stuart 10V steam engines. I really do not know why this is, but when you machine a Stuart 10V steam engine, the flywheel is lower than the bottom of the box bed. I have straightened many crankshafts on 10Vs that were bent by the box bed being sat on the bench, and that pushes the flywheel upwards because the flywheel is lower than the box bed. As I've just mentioned, I do not know why the design is like this, but that is the way it is. So here is an example. This is a 10V sat on a plastic box, and as I rotate the crankshaft, you can clearly see that the flywheel end of the crankshaft is bent. Worse than that, look at the top of the standard. This actually happened in the post. This engine was posted and arrived with the top of the standard smashed like this. When I looked at the engine and the condition it was in, as you see here, first of all I thought, well, this is scrap. There are two options open: make a new standard from a casting bought from Stuart Models, or somehow fasten the broken part back onto the top of this one, using brazing perhaps, or even JB weld. To be honest though, had I have fixed this engine, I would have just made a new standard, as this is a highly stressed part of the engine. I would like to show you what is in this box of bits. The very overscale water fittings that you can see were the inlet and exhaust piping from the engine. As I look at this image, I can see that there are a couple of castings in there that are unmachined and belong to me. I bought them for another job that I haven't yet got round to. Once I dismantled this engine, I left it in this state because it was pointless putting it back together, and here is why. These are the steam cylinders, and whoever drilled the holes for the steamways drilled through in the wrong place, and then attempted a repair by plugging up the holes on the port face itself. I really don't have to say any more. Most of the engines in this collection you've seen so far were originally online auction purchases, and in this instance shows that you never know exactly what you're buying. It's back into the box with this mess, and goodbye from me. Stay safe, stay healthy, thanks for watching, and I hope you found it useful. Please take the time to visit my main Steam Models website and click on the section of the website that says Video Playlists. And by doing that, you can find other videos that you may like to watch. And by using the playlists, you can actually watch the videos back to back.